Hey guys, morning everybody. Happy Wednesday. Today, Wednesday, May 3rd. It is 6:18 right now. Market's gonna open in about 12 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a couple things here to discuss with you guys. As you guys have noticed, I have like multiple charts open now. I also have another thing that I'm going to show you guys too that's been pretty useful to me. That started to notice yesterday or the day before, yesterday and the day before, which happened to be a pretty good confluence. So I'll mark it up with you guys here so that we can take a look at it. I'm probably not going to take trades in that fashion today, but I will show you guys ways to basically let your trade run longer than that 100 pip TP. A little more riskier, and you have to be more you have to be paying attention a bit more, but it's pretty useful. So I'll show you guys that shortly. I'm gonna go and set this room up, send the Zoom link out real quick to you guys here in the premium. And then I will go over it shortly. It's like people are making their way in right now. All right, I'll give a few more moments for people to make their way in, and then we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. As people make their way in, I'm going to go ahead and mark up news price and stuff. So today's Wednesday, May 3rd. We had news over here at 5:15, 6:45, 7, and 7:30. So it's 5:15. I'm going to mark that up first. Obviously, it's the start of that big move right there. So 5:15, 6:45, 7, 7:30. 6:45, 7, 7:30. Let me check my FX book real quick. So news over here, 5:15, 6:30. We have another news event right there, 6:30. 6:30, 7:30. We got a lot of news today. Well, the news is going to happen on open right there, so it's not really a big deal. We're not taking the opening candle, so that's fine. I'll mark it up anyways. But a lot of news today. All right, guys. Morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 3rd. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So we'll start analysis shortly. So I marked up pretty much all the news right here. This chart is for the SR rejection, so I'll mark up the zones here as well. I mean, price is so far from everything right now, so I don't think we're going to have any entries available anytime soon, but I'll just mark these up anyways. All right, so I got all the zones here marked up for the SR rejections if and when they do come up. That's all set up. And then lastly, we're in market liquidity over here as well. Let me see what's here so far. Morning AR, morning Van Harwig, morning Kenny, morning Martha, morning Karen, morning Dad, morning guys. So today is May 3rd, guys, middle of the week. Got a lot of news events today. What I'm going to do over here on this chart is I'm going to mark up the liquidity areas. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to show you guys how I mark up liquidity. It's super easy. I'm going to start from the daily over here. I can do it within like a minute or so. So I'm going to go and mark up the areas that are untested, that have been established. So we got one right there, one right there, one right there, one right there, right there, and right there. A couple more right here, right there, and right there. We're good. Go down to the 8 hour. Right here, there. Go down to the 4 hour. There. Go down to the 2 hour. There, right there. Go down to the 1 hour. $30-minute. There, right there. A lot of areas that I don't know will be tested because they're so far from price, but we will mark them up anyways. 15-minute. I don't know if this will stay, but let's mark it up anyways. It's kind of hard to tell if they're going to hold or not because, price is so close to them. All right, 10-minute. And I think we're good. All right, so I got all the liquidity marked up right there. As you guys can see here on the 1 minute, price is a bit far from pretty much all areas, but did mark up liquidity there in case, price ends up pushing those directions. Sorry, guys. See if there's anything. Barty's asking if I would have taken this lower low with the buy signal. I don't see any buy signal over here, Barty. I know your question came up pretty recent, but I don't see any buy signal here at all. So your question came up like a few minutes ago. The last buy signal was over here at 6:04. So I didn't go online until like 6:20. So there's no, if you're talking about this right here, there's no entry here. So I wouldn't take it. For one, there's no entry. And also there's no other buy signal here. So there's nothing here to take. This is why it's important, Barty, that you actually have the strategies and you know the strategies, because I've noticed lately you've been calling like random trades, which are not trades at all. So there's no entry right here at all for any type of strategy. There's no pivot scalp because price is trending down. There's no high level momentum scalp because price isn't breaking, closing past the pivots. So there's no entry here at all. So no, I wouldn't take this buy here, regardless of, whatever came up. And I don't see any other one here. So I'm pretty sure this is the one that you're talking about. This one down there. All right, guys. So market is opening up shortly, guys. Let me check the overall bias now. So let's take a look at everything real quick, put everything together here. Looking over here at the fundamentals, market is currently closed right now. So it's pre-market. I mean, it's technically open, but it's still pre-market for the official New York session. The futures are currently up for the Dow, 35 points. S&P is up 7 points. Nasdaq's up 30 points. Oil's down 2 points, and the 10-year bond is down 3%. So looking at this right here, there's no strong bias for fundamentals. They're currently bullish neutral. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 65% short. This indicates that 65% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you typically want to do the opposite and buy. So we have sort of a bullish neutral bias at the moment. This right here is bullish. This right here is neutral bullish. And looking over here at the technicals are currently on the short time frame. They're pretty neutral. Here on the 1 minute, it's somewhat bullish, but right down in between the pivots. So it's pretty neutral. 5 minute is neutral in between the pivots. 10 minutes neutral in between the pivots, but they are attempting to shift to the upside for a bullish bias. Looking over here on the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour, they're either bearish, neutral. So they're kind of opposite. Higher time frames are bearish neutral, shorter time frames are bullish neutral. I think the shorter time frames will be leading today because of the sentiment. So price may be somewhat bullish today as price continues to, obviously move around. Other than that, we don't really have anything else here. Liquidity, the closest area is going to be up here up top. One thing that I was mentioning on the open of price was that, or when I got on the live session, was that yesterday and the day before that, I've been testing some things with the Heikki Ashi candles, Heikki and Ashi, if you guys have used this before. One thing that I've noticed that you guys can use, if it's something that you guys would want to use, is basically, see right here, we have a buy signal on the normal candles. So this doesn't really require all this extra stuff. But yeah, basically, so see right here how you get a buy signal on the normal candles. If you look over here there at the Heikki and Ashi candles, and I'll just put this so it marks up the Heikki and Ashi candles as well. See how there's a buy signal right here, guys? See how the line comes up right here? If you were to line this up, like say you get a buy signal here, and it's also bullish over here on the Heikki and Ashi, you could technically take this this buy entry up here and then write it up until you get like 2 red candles or 1 red candle. So if you were to hold on to this trade, there'd be, when this red candle right here hits, you'd probably hold it till that point. Once the red candle closes, you probably would move your stop loss and profit right here. And then if price continues to push it closer up to this area, you just continue holding it, and you'd have like basically a 360 pip move right there for profit. So I'll use this as a confluence. It's not necessarily like a standalone type strategy, but I will use it as a confluence when price is moving in the direction of that trend. So, all right, here's the clean chart right here, guys. There's no entries for us to take right now. Here's the liquidity. Price hasn't really pushed up to any areas yet. So we have somewhat of a bullish neutral bias for the day. So that's basically what I'll be looking for here. Price is right down the middle. Looking over here, there's no entries for us right now. There's currently a lower low that's established, but nothing confirmed yet. Here's a clean chart. I'm gonna go ahead and mark up opening price right there. Mark up 8 o'clock right there. There's opening price right here. All right. So a lot of back and forth movement right here. We currently have a lower low right now. So if we get a buy signal that pushes to the upside on these following candles and we close it with a buy signal, then possible entry for a buy there. Liquidity is pretty far, so it doesn't look like we'll have any, opportunity for a liquidity push just yet. So if this here closes with the buy signal, then there's possible entry there for a high low momentum scalp. Looking over here, we have a buy signal also on the Heikki and Ashi, so that could be another confluence there. All right, so price is kind of skipping around right here. I don't think we're going to have that buy signal close. As you guys can see, price spiked down pretty heavy right here. And we'll see where this ends up going. So it doesn't look like we're going to have an entry because there's a new lower low here. But that could be the opportunity for the next entry for us there. If price continues to drop, the trend is going to start shifting to the downside. We currently have a downwards trend now. So looking over here on the short-term technicals, we currently have a bearish bias for the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, because price is now below the pivots, trend meters red, and the pivots are starting to angle to the downside. So we may have a bearish bias here as price continues to drop lower. So we'll follow along like this and we'll see where it ends up going. There's liquidity right here down this area. So that's going to be one area to possibly look at, in case price does come down that far. Let's see if I can put a pending order somewhere over here. Let me see. All right, so I got price coming down right here to this area. It's getting close to the area of liquidity. So it already hit. I don't know if anyone's looking to take that liquidity push right there. Or I got close to it actually. So there's an area of liquidity right there that pretty much got knocked down. See if there's anything over here. Any confluence for it. It's right at the sessions too. So that area of liquidity right there got knocked down. I was looking to see if there's any other opportunity here for price to either continue pushing or for any other entry really, but there isn't anything else here. Price reached through that area. Blast right through it. All right. I got a lot of slippage right there. So I caught that liquidity push, guys, when price came down. It's still dropping, man. Kind of annoying that it spiked me right there, but it's all good. So I don't know if anybody caught the liquidity push. I caught it. A lot of slippage though. Trying to check my copier to see what happened here. All right, so I got a lot of slippage right there. Actually, I was supposed to make 2,000 off the trade. It's all good. I caught it for the quick push. So I was kind of focused on my MT4 right here. I knew it was going to drop. So that area of liquidity there got marked up. You guys saw I marked it up, before the market opened, and it went right through right there. So if you guys caught it, great. I'm not going to count it as an official trade because I still haven't confirmed this to be one of the official strategies for us to take here. The official strategy currently is still going to be the high level momentum scalp over here, but we don't have any entries for that yet. Currently have a lower low there. So if price pushes back up, provides a buy signal, then we can take that for a buy. But this liquidity right here just got knocked out. So this is the trade that I personally took myself. And I just realized I was marking up the zones in the wrong area for the SRs. Let's drop new zones right here real quick. Didn't take too long. Let's make some slight adjustments. All right. All right, so there's nothing else for us here now, guys. I just marked up the SR rejection right here. I'll put up the strategy requirements right there. Okay, so this chart's only for SR rejection scalps. This right here is obviously for high level momentum scalps. This is our main chart. Here's our clean chart. As you guys can see, price isn't really doing too much right now. I'll go and mark up the high, which is technically right there, and the low, which is technically right there. So this is technically our clean chart, as you guys can see. Huge drop right there on open, and that's the range that price is currently in. Here's the markup chart. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, not too much going on here. Just a really messy market at the moment. Looks like it's an established new area, so I'll leave that alone. Another area of liquidity right here that just pushed through. I'm not in this position right here. I didn't catch it, but I'll mark it up for you guys there. It looks like it already hit TP too. So you guys can see the liquidity pushes right here. There's about two of them that pushed through right now. I'm not in the second one though. I took the first one right here. Let me take a screenshot of my profits real quick. I got a lot of slippage on this, fortunately, but my counts are looking pretty nice for the week so far. So I'll just mark this up real quick so that you guys know what trade I took. If you guys ever want to go back and review my trades. So these are going to count towards official trades, but they are, it's a trade that I caught. And here are my profits so far. So there's no entries for us right now, guys. Don't worry, you guys are not missing out on anything right now. We currently have a lower low right here. So if you get a buy signal that breaks and closes past pivots 1 and 2 over here, then possible entry for a buy. But I don't see that happening anytime soon because price is kind of hanging around the bottom right now at the moment. So yeah, as we wait for this here, I'll take a look to see if there is any possible entry, but it's not looking like we're going to be having that anytime soon. We do have news right here though, so we might want to sit out for a bit if it comes out a little too late. David's asking if there was if ISM services PMI is high impact. I believe it is. Usually ISM is high impact. So let's take a look real quick. Yes, it is. So final services PMI is low impact, but the ISM services PMI right here is high impact at 7. So, all right, there's possible entry right here, guys. If this candle does close with a buy signal, I think this here will probably be a good entry. Got to actually wait for it to close though. We have about 30 seconds left. Yeah. Also, Maddie mentioned it's also NFP week, and Maria said interest rates today. Yes. So a lot of high impact news today, guys. That's why the market's moving kind of crazy. A lot of people are kind of assuming and predicting where price is likely to go, and that's why the market is super kind of erratic at the moment. You know, they need to set up for the interest rates to come out. So I think the interest rates are either going to stay flat or they're either going to lower. I don't think they're going to go higher today. So if that becomes the case, it's going to be good for the market. So I think price drop right here basically to shake people out of the market before the interest rate news comes out, because it's probably going to be spiking up higher once it does come out. If it's good news, which I think it is going to be good news. If you guys noticed, like it was pretty much all over. So yeah, basically what Powell said was that they can't keep increasing rates because if they keep increasing rates, the banks are going to continue to fail. So that's, one of the main reasons why I think I'm expecting it to be dovish. Like you can see right here, while market is anticipating a dovish Fed inclined to halt rate hikes and start cutting later this year, stubborn high prices could change that. Yeah, so that's exactly what I mentioned. We're anticipating it to be bullish, but you really don't know what the Fed's going to do, right? The Fed said they're not going to change it, but I mean, who knows? They might change it when you least expect it. So again, right here, guys, possible entry. You have to wait for the actual candle to close though. Make sure not to enter it early because this candle can easily disappear like it just did right now. All right, so this thing right here just closed, guys. Let me see if I can get in. All right, let me see if I can get into this position here. I'm gonna check the Heiken Ashi. Looks good, bullish. All right, I'm letting it pull back a little bit. I'm gonna put a buy stop right there, and then I'm gonna catch it as it swings back up. So I'm not in the position yet, guys. I'm waiting for this thing to swing back up, and I'll take my buy entry when it comes up with a buy stop. So I'm gonna set my buy stop right there. Not in the position yet. The reason why I waited for this here is because I couldn't get in exactly on entry. Price was kind of bouncing around a little bit. And then also was right at the sessions too. So I kind of just waited a little bit. I'm waiting for it to swing back up. I have my buy stop set right there. So if it swings back up, it's going to fill my order and then go straight to TP. So it's waiting for right there. Still not in. So still not in the position, guys. It got close to filling, but it didn't actually fill. So still waiting here. Just gonna take a screenshot of my earlier profits real quick. It's getting close to news price right there too. Luckily, this is the low impact one. All right, still hasn't filled yet. Still has not filled my order. I'll leave it there for a little bit. We got news coming up right here in about 3 minutes. I'm hoping it fills before then. If not, I might have to pull out of it. Still waiting for it, guys. And I hate when the market does this, where it just kind of goes flat when we have a possible entry coming up. So still on the position, guys. I'll just post up my my current profits. Figured I might as well just screenshot them while we're waiting. All right, so while we wait for this, I'm going to go and take a look at other people's profits. I'm still not in the position, guys, so I'm waiting for it to fill. I have my pending order there. We have news coming up in about 2 minutes. Let's see. We have Kenny over here, total profit of 560 for the day. Kenny took that liquidity push that we took earlier. So nice work right there, Kenny. Solid work right there. All right, I'm still not in the position, guys. If this thing ends up not coming up, I'm just going to cancel it. Still waiting for it to come up. Yeah, Eunice said he deleted his pending buy due to news. Yeah, news is coming up right now shortly, guys. So if you guys want to delete it, feel free. I'm probably going to delete mine right now too. Let's see. All right, we got news coming up in about 20 seconds. I'm probably just going to delete it. Let's see. News in about 8 seconds. It's curious to see where it goes from here. All right, we got the news candle right here. You go to markup news price, which is right there. Right there, she's red. All right, I'm canceling it. All right, so I canceled my order, guys. I didn't end up filling. I was hoping for it to fill. It just never filled. I kept waiting for it to fill up over here. It just never came back up to opening price. So the reason why I didn't enter it right away, guys, because I was waiting for it to close. As soon as it closed, price came down a little bit. As soon as it came down, I had my pending order right there, just waiting for the buy, but it just never came back up. So there's no opportunity there for me to take. Looks like price might be spiking back up from where it's currently at, but did not end up having the ability to fill. I canceled my order. I probably could have left it there, but I'm not going to risk it, especially with the news coming up right here at 7. So going to be waiting for the next one here. So this is why it's important that, like, well, I mean, it's fine if you guys enter right away, but for me personally, I think it's important that you guys wait for the candle to actually close. I know a lot of you guys try to enter like 5 seconds early. I know a lot of you guys do that and you guys get caught in the position. Some of you guys try to enter like 10 seconds early, which is like way too early, guys. This here could have closed out in any direction. So I personally just waited for it. You know, we even talked about it today. The market's going to be very choppy and kind of crazy because of the interest rates. It's also NFP. There's just a lot of news events going on today. And then we had the news candle coming up very quickly right here too. So the candle closed right here at 640. News event was at 645. Just a lot of reasons to be more careful around this area. But it's all good. We'll wait for the next one here to come up. If the same situation happens where we're close to news again, I'm probably going to wait a little bit because, you know, I don't want to be caught in something like this, what we just discussed. So nothing for us to look at right now. There's no areas of liquidity. Cancel out of that order. And now we're just waiting for something else here to play out. There's no SR ejections here. Let me check. Yeah, same zones from earlier. Still nothing for us to take right now. Here's the main chart again. And we will continue to look for next entry. All right, anyways, here are the profits across my account so far, guys. I haven't taken anything else yet. So here's my first account, locked in a total profit of 1,120. Here's my second account, locked in a total profit of 1,220. Here is my MFF number 1, total profit of 210. MFF number 2, total profit of 210. And MFF number 3, total profit of 210. So pretty solid so far. And there he goes, price pushes up. So I kind of anticipated this to happen. You know, market was just pretty much BSing earlier. I should have left my pending order there. If I did, it would have filled. It's all good. Yeah, so you can see right here, price did end up coming back up. There's just a lot of that news price that happened prior that was kind of pulling price down. That's why it's kind of safe. It's kind of better to hold off when, new stuff like that happens. But I mean, it's all good. Kind of price pushing up right now. Typically, we don't really avoid news, especially for this specific strategy. But for today, there's just a lot of news events. So there's a lot of things that will cause price to spike, in either direction. So for me personally, that's why I'm a little more careful when it comes down to taking certain entries today. So guys, you see this right here? If I left my pending order, which I wish I did, I closed it out because the price came down too heavy. This here is just manipulation based off news. So you guys can see right here, this is news price. This is why typically we avoid news, right? Price was supposed to come up right here. It was getting close to news, so price came down, faked out, basically wiped people out who are looking for buys here because we're anticipating news to be positive. Let me check the news real quick. I'm pretty sure the news was positive too. So news was even positive, right? Looking over here at the news that just passed, it was pretty much neutral. It was right down the middle, but it wasn't negative. So right here, price kind of just pulled down a little bit. We have ISM services PMI. I'm expecting this to be positive. And this is just, fake out that happened right here based on news, and price just swung up. So I didn't take this trade here. I deleted my order. So it's not going to count, obviously, but I just wanted to show you guys that this is why you want to be a little bit careful around news area. That was one of the reasons why I was a little careful about making entry. There was sessions, news price, etc. I know from our testing, we didn't really look at that stuff, but you got to adjust with the market. You can't just do the same thing every single time. Like you can apply the same strategy, but you got to use different confluences to really determine, whether a strategy is going to be risky or whether it's going to be safe. Because obviously that was going to be somewhat of a risk. Other than that, there's nothing for us to take right now. This right here was in a high level momentum scalp because there was no lower low at this point. We're pretty much just waiting for price to continue pushing up or do whatever it needs to do from here. Yeah, but at the moment, there's nothing for us to take right here. It looks like price may push up to this area of liquidity. If this happens, then there's a possible entry for a buy right there. Yeah, that looks like that could be the next opportunity right there. Like I said, a buy stop right there. All right. Price. Buy stop. So let me see if I can put in a pending order right there at the liquidity. I get there before price actually pushes. Or 3, 2. All right, so we'll see if price pushes past this area right here. It's an area of liquidity. Just trying to set up my pending order. It's a little difficult to set up pending orders here because the pricing isn't the same. Here's a clean chart. Price pushed past this area here. So there's probably a new higher high at that point. Yeah, there is a new higher high right here now. Let's leave this alone because it's probably going to push through higher. All right, so let's see if that area of liquidity gets knocked. If it does, there's another level above there. Yeah, so I think it's enough to hit TP if it does make it that high. I don't know if it'll make it that high, but if it does, that is what we'll be looking for. There is actually an area of, so there is an SR rejection scalp right here, guys. So if you guys, I don't know if anyone's following this, I have multiple charts open. For this chart right here, this is just for SR rejection entries. There's actually one that happened right here. So you can see how price is pushing up. We had a wick rejection right here off the structure. It was so we had a bullish trend over here. Price rejected off the structure right there, bullish momentum right there. And this right here was technically an entry for a SR rejection. Full TP. So I don't know if anybody caught that, but I'm following these entries here for you guys. There was one right there for the SR rejection scalp. So again, guys, if you guys are just joining the room or if you guys are not familiar with like all the multiple charts that I have open, the reason why I'm pulling this up is because we're getting close to summer. This strategy is good for the summer because it's meant for ranging type markets. So this right here was an SR rejection scalp. I just have it here marked out for you guys who are looking at it. I know some of you guys want to get a head start before summer begins. So we do have this up here. It's May 3rd. So we have about a month until summer, which is June, where the market starts to range and consolidate. So possible entry right there. That was the SR rejection scalp. Going back over here to the high level momentum scalp, we have a higher high right there. If this candle breaks and closes past the pivots with the sell signal, then possible entry for a sell. But we don't have that yet. Here's the clean chart. And this liquidity area did not get knocked out yet. So we still have that waiting right there if and when price does get to that area, but it has not filled yet. So, and I'm putting a pending order up there to catch it if it does swing up. Might happen later. It might not even happen anytime soon, but eventually it'll probably happen. The reason why I'm comfortable about this area right here is because we already predicted a bullish bias from this morning. So we had a very strong retail sentiment, which I'm pretty sure it's still pretty strong. It's not super strong, but it's still above 60%. It's 64% short right now. So 64% of retail traders are currently selling. Typically want to do the opposite and buy. Looking over here at the fundamentals. All right, fundamentals right now are not very strong, but they are bullish. So the 37 points in the green, S&P's up 15, Nasdaq's up 69 points, Russell 2K is up 13 points, and the VIX is currently flat right now. So the Dow's currently up 30 points, not very strong, but it is bullish. This is bullish. Looking over here at the technicals, let's take a look at that as well. Technicals over here on the short term are somewhat bullish. They're bullish neutral. So right here on the 1 minute, it's currently bullish because price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling up. We have the same thing over here on the 5, which is a bit more neutral on the neutral side, but it is somewhat bullish because it is above the pivots. Lastly, over here on the 10-minute price is pretty much neutral. So on the shorter time frames, it's bullish neutral. Retail sentiment is bullish. So we have a overall, for the most part, bullish bias. It's not super strong, but it is a bullish bias. Still no entry here for the momentum scalp. All right. Let's see if there's anything else here for us to follow over here. All right, we got news coming up shortly, guys. So I'm probably going to hold off on this entry if it does come up. I don't think it's going to come up anytime soon. The reason why I'm holding off is because I think this news is going to be positive. So I think it's going to push price up. So I'm not looking to take this right here specifically. Usually we disregard news, but for this specific news event, I'm probably going to pay attention to it. So, all right, there's a possible entry coming up right here, guys, for the sell. Again, as I mentioned, it's really close to news though, so I don't think I'm going to be taking it. And it's not really closing too strong. It's kind of just bouncing around a lot. Yeah, exactly. Nick said it's probably going to come up right now, hit TP, then news will come. Yeah. And it's not actually closing very strong. So you can see right here, it's rejecting off that pivot pretty heavily. So it's having trouble getting below the pivots. Pretty much every candle here tried to get down and it rejected directly off the pivots. Rejection, 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 another rejection. Another possible entry right here, but it's like right next to news candle. It's 6:58 right now. News is going to come up in about 2 minutes. So I'm probably going to hold off on this specific entry right now. Here's some more profits from Maddie. Maddie's currently at 460 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. And then here his small loss and then recovery right there. So he took that loss right there from the buy. Maddie's one of the people that took the buy earlier from the high low momentum scalp, ate the loss right there and bounced back from the next trade. So nice work right there, Maddie, with that recovery. All right, the candle still didn't close, guys. If this candle here does close, it's technically an entry, but it's right next to news candle, so I wouldn't take it. This is very high impact news, so you're probably gonna get a spike. It's either gonna spike in your direction and you're gonna be happy, or it's gonna spike against you and you're gonna get some slippage and you're gonna lose a lot of profit. So I'm not gonna take that risk. Doesn't even look like it's gonna close. Has about 38 seconds left on it. So we'll follow it and we'll see where it goes, but I'm definitely not gonna be taking this specific entry right here. Here's some more profits from Kenny. Kenny's currently up 890 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. All wins. All right, let's see what happens with this news candle right here. I mean, if it spikes up, I still have my buy stop there to catch the liquidity. So we'll see if it continues to push up from here. All right, so there goes. Price pushes up. We got the news candle in a few seconds. There goes, price starts to spike up like that. And then anticlimactic drop right back down. So nothing there. It spiked up slightly and then it just came back down. It seems like there's a lot of mixed reactions to the news. Let me check the news real quick, see what it is. It's still pending. It actually didn't come out yet. It was pretty neutral, actually. So it wasn't neutral or bullish. It wasn't bullish or bearish. It was neutral, just like the final services. So that's why it kind of spiked up a little bit, because people were kind of hoping that it was going to push up, and then it just got flat because it didn't necessarily push. We do have the Fed statement later today at 11, but it's not going to be useful to us because we're not going to be trading around that time. So here goes, price pushes back up. I think price will still push up though because of the Fed rate news later today. It's going to have to push in one direction or the other, most likely. Yeah, exactly. Eunice said price might range until interest rate news. Yeah, I could see that too, Eunice. So we still got this area of liquidity that's still untested. Right here on the liquidity charts. And there still is no entry for us to take right now. All right, looking over here at the SR rejection. Nothing right now specifically. I mean, the market just got pretty flat. So as you guys can see, news happened right now. It kind of pushed up a little bit and it just keeps pulling back down. This blue line right here is going to be opening price, guys. So realistically, price hasn't really gone anywhere. Here's a clean chart. You guys can see it a lot better. This blue line right here is where market opened. So if you guys look at it closely, nothing here has really happened, right? Price pushed down, came back up to opening price, pushed up a little bit, came back to opening price, and now it's kind of just going sideways. So we'll see if we have this bullish push. If we do have the bullish push, I'm expecting it to push from this area of liquidity, possibly to the next area. So probably break it, pull back a little bit. You guys know how it works. Break it, pull back a little bit, come back up. And it may just continue up higher because there's another area of liquidity, but it's like very high. Yeah, it's way up there. It might not push up that high by today. It might push up. So these areas of liquidity might get knocked out later on today, guys, like when the Fed releases the interest rates. It's either going to spike price down or it's going to spike price up higher. But for the moment, this is where price is currently at. It's just in a range right now. Not really too much here to look at. All right. So let me just scroll up real quick. I think Tom had a question earlier. So Tom said, for the strat that you showed during the live, would you consider a trade valid if the candle before the signal break pivots 1 and 2, but not 2? I know it doesn't, Tom. So I think you're still not like completely confident in the strategy yet. You got just got to read the criteria, you know, in normal fashion. If you just read it out loud, confirm price break and close past pivots 1 and or 2, right? So if you just just read it out loud, Tom. Confirm price closes past pivots 1 and 2. So that means 1 and 2, right? Or if you want to do that, pivots 1 and or 2, right? So it's either just 2 or it's 1 and 2, Tom. So just read it out loud. That's going to make sense to you, because you need to have either 1 or 2. You can't just have 1 or 2. It's 1 and or 2, because it's either going to be 1 or it's going to be just 2 by itself. And if you want to review that, Tom, just review the mentoring session from last week, because I kind of like went into detail about that too. So yeah, it has to be 1 and 2, or it has to be 2. Let me see. Okay, so Tom said this is what I meant. The candle before the signal broke pivot 1 only. Okay, let me go there to 624. I'm right here at 624. So this right here would have been an entry, because it breaks past pivots 1 and 2. So like right here, if you go back to the criteria, right? I mentioned if it breaks past pivots 1 and 2, right? This did not break past pivots 1 and 2, but it did break past pivot 2. So the and or part satisfies the criteria there. So yeah, this here would be the criteria. Does that make sense? I mean, you just have to read it out loud, you know, pivots 1 and 2, or 1 and or 2. So it's either going to break past pivot 1 with the previous candle, and then the second one will break past pivot 2, or if it just breaks past both of them at the same time. That's basically what you're looking for. Yeah, no problem, Tom. All right, so we have another possible buy signal that's coming up right here, guys. There's no lower low, so there's no entry for us, or there technically is, but price has already passed the area. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to draw a new lower low here. This is going to confirm that the trend is getting, or not necessarily the trend, but the range is getting a bit tighter. So this is the high right here, and this is the low, basically support resistance. And you can see price is starting to squeeze and consolidate right down the middle right here. So we got that right there. What else we got here? So we got that right there down the middle. There's a clean chart, nothing really going on here. We have the area of liquidity right there, still waiting. Still hasn't reached that area yet. All right, there's still nothing for us to take right now, guys. All right, even if we get a buy signal here, it's not going to qualify as entry. We need a new lower low in order for us to have any type of entry here for a high-low momentum scalp. So there's no entries for this right here. Looks like there may be an SR rejection scalp closing right here if the candle does close strong. You guys are looking for that. Something to maybe pay attention to. All right, the SR rejection scalp there did close. If anyone took it, closed like right there. I went straight to TP. Yeah, straight to TP right there if anyone took it. Looking for price to get to that area of liquidity. That's kind of what I'm waiting for right now. This price continues to, you know, obviously push up higher. All right, so I caught that inch right there myself. Looks good. Got the area of liquidity right here next. All right, kind of just waiting for it. If it doesn't end up going there, I'm probably just going to cancel the order. I caught this order right here, though. I'm not going to count it as an official trade, guys. Again, as I mentioned, The only official strategy that we're applying is going to be this one right here, the high level momentum scalp. I'm taking other entries though. That's why I have these other charts open. I'm showing you guys exactly what I'm taking. So if you guys want to take the entries here, make sure that you guys are familiar with the strategy. If not, then get familiar with it first. So took that one right there. I just mentioned that was going to happen. I said if it closed the moderate candle, which it did, it closed and then it blasted right through TP right there. We got the area of liquidity right here. Still hasn't been hit yet, but it's kind of what we're waiting for next. So we got a new higher high right here. I'm going to mark up the resistance, or whatever you guys want to call it, the higher high or the resistance. All right. Got that marked up right there. Price is still pretty much ranging sideways at the moment. Yeah, Matty over here mentioned clean rejection of pivots 1 and 2 as well. Yeah, that SR rejection scalp is a nice entry. Because it rejected off the structure, it also rejected off the pivots. So clean entry right there for an SR rejection. Question from Eunice. He was asking, was there a buy signal that was... Actually, no, you're right. So my bad, guys. I actually totally missed that. So Eunice mentioned that there was no buy signal. We actually need the buy signal there. So there was actually no SR rejection scalp on that specific candle. So my bad, guys. I don't know if anyone caught it, but I made a mistake right there. Requirement number 3 is that you need a buy signal. And there was no buy signal there. I thought there was one pending. So I think there was pending when we were looking at it, but it wasn't necessarily there at the time of entry. But, whatever reason, it did hit TP. So that's a good thing. I think the area of liquidity here got hit. Oh, this is my main chart. Okay, I'm getting confused now because I forgot to have the zones over here on this one. And then I also got this one over here. So, all right. So there's still no official entries here, guys. There's a possible higher high that just got established right there. I'm just waiting. My liquidity here didn't get filled, guys, because I told you guys I was going to cancel it if it kept ranging. It was just ranging sideways, so I canceled it. It's probably still running in profit right now, though. Yeah, so mine didn't actually fill. When I was waiting for right there, I just canceled it because Nick said he was going to cancel it. A couple other people mentioned they were going to cancel it, so I just canceled it too. So unfortunately, I didn't get into that liquidity push right here. I canceled my order. We could follow it and see if it plays through, but I canceled mine, so I'm not in it. All right, so Maddie's got hit. He's still in it right now. Kind of tempted to enter late now. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a buy stop here again. I'm just going to put the order back in. And then if it swings back up, it'll fill my order. I just cancel it because a lot of you guys were saying you were going to cancel it. And I was like, okay, I'll just cancel it too because price was kind of a bit overextended. So I'm not in the position right now, guys. I was going to be in it, but I didn't get into it because some of you guys mentioned you were canceling it. So I just took it out. There's a possible entry here for a high level momentum scalp. So this is what I'm a little bit worried about having that pending order right there, because if I do have this here, it's going to conflict with the high level momentum scalp. That's typically what I don't want to happen. I don't want to take a liquidity push and then I'm looking for something opposite right here, right? This candle here is a little too big. All right, let's see if this candle here ends up closing. I just don't like the way the market's currently moving right now. That's why I kind of just canceled my pending order and then also this right here. So again, guys, this is like the reason why I don't like using multiple strategies. So typically I stick to just one strategy. That's why this is the only official strategy, because if I have multiple strategies on here, it's going to, they're going to conflict sometimes, right? Like we had this liquidity push that I was waiting to fill, but then price just never got to that area. So I just ended up canceling it. And then right here, you can see that there's now a high level momentum scalp. I'm not in this position here because I didn't actually wait for it to close. But you guys can see how these strategies start to conflict, right? Sometimes you'll have a strategy that's looking for a buy sell because this here doesn't really look at overall trend. And then you also have like other entries like, you know, the SR ejection scalp that looks for ranging entries and stuff like that. So that's why typically I don't look at multiple strategies. I just look at one. And that's why this one right here is the main strategy. So our main focus is this. Unfortunately, I didn't enter the trade. Looks like it's going to hit CP, but I did not enter this trade right here specifically. So not sure if anybody's in it, but if you guys are, it is technically still running, but I'm not in the position. I missed it. It ended up spiking down and it closed. The candle is also kind of big. I mean, I think it'll probably hit though. Yeah, so it went straight to full TP right there. If you guys caught it, great. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into it. I was waiting for it to close, but then I thought it was going to close up here and it ended up spiking down at the very last second. So if you guys caught this here, great. If you guys didn't, it's all good. We're going to keep looking for another entry here. So I'm going to give you guys an update here. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for this entry to come up. Well, it looks like some of you guys here did take it. Let me just copy this over here. All right, so we have a bit of a crazy market, which was expected. This is I mean, I've been warning you guys about this from like the beginning because it is FOMC. There's just a lot of news events, plus there's FOMC. There's just a lot of manipulation going on, like with the ISM news over here. The first one that came up earlier, that was manipulation. Obviously, price was supposed to go up, came down slightly because of news, then it spiked right back up. And then same with this right here. I think price is going to drop a bit until like maybe, or it's just going to range. So we're going to have a big range until what's it called? The Fed meeting later. Because the Fed meeting is really going to determine where price is going. Right now, this is just a lot of back and forth movement, but the Fed news later is really going to determine if price is going to continue holding or whether it's going to bounce. So here's Christian. He took that sell right there. So that's the sell that I marked up for the high level momentum scalp. Christian over here locked in a total profit of 530 for the day. Nice work, Christian. Solid work right there. Let me see if there's anything else here for me to look at. All right, Eunice over here said he hit his pending order for liquidity push, hit stop loss, took it back partial with a high-low scalp. So yeah, Eunice over here, it looks like his order filled for that liquidity push, but then he ended up taking the sell over here and then he recovered some of the losses. So nice work right there, Eunice, on covering that trade. Here's Anelli. He took some trades earlier today, 7-11. So it looks like he took the earlier trades this morning. Total profit of 1,670 for the day. Nice work, Nelly. Looks like he took the trade from down here or somewhere around that area. But he ended up taking that and then locked in some profit off there. Yeah, I know, Kip. I just saw your message. All right, some profits here from Maria. Maria took that earlier trade with us, the liquidity push. It's 290, total profit of 437 for the day. So pretty nice profits over here, Maria, all wins. All right, so we're looking for another entry here, guys. Market is moving a little choppy right now. Let's go to the clean chart. You guys can see it here a lot better. So you guys can see that there's not really much of a direction here. So we don't really have a bias. I mean, as much as we want a bias for a bullish confirmation, price is just going back and forth. It just keeps bouncing around back and forth between, you know, both of the areas right here. So, I mean, I'll continue looking for entries here, but if I don't see anything good, then I'm not going to force anything, obviously. There's no need to force any entries here, especially with, you know, with this type of market that we're currently in. All right, we have a lower low right here. We have another pending buy signal right here as price pushes back up. Right, we have a possible high-low momentum scalp here. We have a lower low right here. So if we get a buy signal that breaks and closes past the pivots 1 and 2 right there, possible entry for a high-low momentum scalp. But again, guys, as I mentioned, I'm not going to be forcing anything. So if it comes up clear and pretty clean and precise, then I'll enter the trade. If not, I'm not really going to force anything here, right? I made some pretty decent profit across a lot of these trades here. I actually have 2 wins right now. I have the first win from earlier, and then I also have the win from the SR rejection scalp that technically wasn't there. There was no buy signal, so there was no entry there, technically. So I currently have 2 wins right now. I'm just feeling a little iffy about the market, so I don't want to throw away any of my profits, take anything that's unnecessary. So that's the main reason why I'm being a little more careful right now. Update the zones right here. So that's the thing that you guys need to understand too. Like, you guys need to go with your intuition. If you guys feel like the market's being kind of iffy and you're not really comfortable with taking trades, you don't need to take trades, right? If you see entries come up, you're free to mark them up and then possibly maybe even shift to like a demo account or something to keep trading if you really want to trade, but you don't want to risk your profits. I think that's kind of what made me very consistent, because I'm able to identify when the market's not really moving smoothly or not. Right now, it's not moving smoothly at all. We currently have a lower low right here. Price is ranging sideways. And we do have the pending buy signal right here. So if you guys want to take this trade, you guys got to make sure that you wait for the candle to close, right? And even if you wait for the candle to close, you maybe want to wait for that retracement or pullback. Sometimes it's okay to enter the trade late, but you would have to exit it early if it does hit your TP. So I'm watching this right here. I don't know if I want to take it yet because this candle here is a little bit iffy. You guys can see that it keeps spiking back and forth. Typically when it pushes up and it's strong and it stays up there, then great. But this candle right here is going back and forth. So this is pretty much like what happened earlier with the candle the entry that I skipped, because this was happening. And at the very last second, the candle did close, right? You have 20 seconds left on this candle right here. So you kind of want to wait for it to actually close. I wouldn't necessarily enter it right away or enter it early, because this here could easily shift like it just did right there, right? It just disappeared. So you got 9 seconds left on this candle. And you can see right there, it came right back down. And there's no entry. So I didn't take the entry there, of course. As I mentioned, I said wait for it. If it did close, that would have been a good entry because it looks like it would have pushed right straight to the TP, but it didn't close. So you guys just got to be disciplined. You guys got to be patient for these to actually close out. Even if they do close out, you want to make sure that you're looking at the chart to see if there's anything that could happen that would cause it to go the other way, like news events, right? Earlier this morning, the entry came up right here. There was a news event right next to it. So that was like my hint to maybe set it out. Right here, there's no entry at all. So price did break and close past the pivots, but no buy signal. So even if we do get a buy signal anywhere over here, there's not going to be any entry. So it's got to sit back and wait for another setup here to come up. This liquidity area got knocked out already. I'm curious to see what level is this from. So let me go on the higher time frames real quick. So it looks like that level is from the 10-minute and the 15 and the 30 and the 1 hour. So this level right here is actually a good level. The level that got hit, for whatever reason, it rejected directly off that price point. Let me see if there's anything here that could have caused that. All right, so one thing right here is that it was an SR zone. So that's one of the red flags there. So like whenever a trade doesn't play out, guys, I typically like to look back and see if there's anything that could have been done to avoid during that type of trade. It looks like the main thing was that there was just an SR zone there. So rejected directly off the resistance right here is a pretty strong resistance. It's all good. It happens. So I'm going to clean that up right there because that zone is no longer useful. And other than that, I think that's about it for now. But that zone did look good from when I was analyzing it. All right, there's nothing for us to take right here. Let me just go down the list again real quick. There's a possible SR rejection here if this candle closes as a moderate green candle. It doesn't look like it right now, but it can easily shift up in the last, 10, 20 seconds. So possible right here. It doesn't look like it's going to happen now. There's about 10 seconds left, so it does not look like a green candle at all. It's a very strong red candle, actually. Nothing there. There's nothing right here for a high-level momentum scalp. Here's a clean chart. You can see prices just ranging around opening price. So opening prices is blue line right here. And price just gets pulled back to that area. Price will pull down, come back to that area, push up, pull back to that area. And it just keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again. Let's see, question from William. William's asking, Sean, back to that possible buy we had but didn't play out just now. Was that not valid because we didn't get a green vertical bar, correct? It closed past pivots 1 and 2, but no vertical bar. Yeah, that is correct, William, because the entry is based off the momentum signal. So just going down the steps over here, identify a higher high, lower low. There's a lower low right there. Second, identify a valid momentum signal. There was no signal there. So if you can't get past step 2, then you can't get to step 3. Step 3 was satisfied right there because the price did break and close past it. But step 2 was not satisfied. So you couldn't move on to step 3. So you pretty much got shut down at step 2 right here. So yeah, your analysis is right. Sure, no problem. All right, so let me see what my profits are looking like so far for the week. I mean, it's looking pretty decent. So for the day so far, currently up, let's see, 1120, 1220, 210. Of course, my MFF gave me like super partial profits, but it is what it is. Matthew over here too. Matthew said he caught it earlier, but he only got half profit. I mean, at least you got half profit, Matthew. I got like a third of a profit right here, a fourth of it. It's supposed to have 1,000 there, locked in 210. So for the day right now, I'm currently up. I actually took 2 trades. So I'm this times 2. Currently up like about 5,940 right now for the day. And then for the week so far, I'm up pretty nice. 7,860 plus 7,880. Plus 1490, plus 1490, plus 1490. Currently up 20,210 for the week so far across all my accounts. So I have 5 accounts here. They're added up together. That's where I'm at for the week so far. So that's why I'm not really inclined to take anything too risky, guys. You guys can see, you do the math here. I'm up like pretty good in profit. If I lose a trade, I'm going to give away like half of this. So I'm not really looking to take anything too risky. If it looks good, then great, I'll take the trade. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to risk it because there's no point, right? One of the main things that I started to realize with trading, guys, is that you get a lot better when you don't focus on the profits, right? Like for me personally, I just focus on winning trades. If I focus on winning trades, my profits are going to add up, right? I don't even know how many trades I took this week or how many wins I took. It's barely Wednesday. And this is where I'm currently at because I'm just focusing on winning. If you guys can focus on winning and not focus on the money, you guys will do a lot better. Because when you start to focus on the money, you start to get greedy. Right? Like for example, here for the liquidity push, I wasn't getting greedy on that trade there because I was already up from 2 trades. I took the SR rejection scalp and then I took up the momentum scalp here as well. So for the liquidity push over here, I wasn't too inclined. I was like, okay, if it hits, then great. If it doesn't, and then I saw some chatter in the Zoom chat and in the other chats where people were saying that they were going to cancel their order. So I was like, okay, if they're canceling their order, they probably see something. And then I just canceled mine as well. That's why I didn't get in the trade. But yeah, I think it's always like beneficial to have a second source of income if you guys are able to do that. Because it's more important when you guys first start trading. Because when you first start trading, if you just trade and then your trading is your only form of income, then you get like you start to get a lot of FOMO with these trades because every time you miss a trade, you're like, oh, I could have made some profit off that, and you're too focused on the money, right? So I think greed is like everyone's biggest problem with trading. Because yeah, there's a bunch of trades that came up here. Like if I look back and I look at the other entries here, there's probably some V1 variations or some V2s or something, but I didn't take any of those trades today. So you guys just got to keep in mind, you guys got to be content with the profits that you make. Like for example, over here at 652, there was a V3 variation right here. There was a high with a green candle followed by a red candle. That'd be a V3 variation. Obviously, I didn't take the trade, but this here would have been a V3 variation right there. So I have a lot of strategies here that you guys can apply and you guys can take, and they probably do work, but not exactly, your best option if you don't need to take them. Yeah, so Glenn said he's out for the day. Seems like no direction. Yeah, I know. I agree with you too, Glenn. That's why I'm not really inclined to take anything right now. If I see something good, I'll take it, but I don't see anything good here at all. So I'm sitting on my hands right now. I'm still looking for entries though. So don't get me wrong, guys. I'm still looking for entries, but I'm not going to take anything that doesn't look good or if it looks too risky. It's 7:30 right now, so we have about 30 minutes until 8. We still have a lot of time. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and then I will answer them for you. Nice. So the same strategy that I just showed you guys over here for the momentum using the Heiken Aishi candles, I did the same thing for Forex. So I took this trade over here for US30 last night, or not US30, Euro USD. So this trade came up right here last night, right? We had a buy signal. I did the same thing. So I entered my buy entry right here, or I already marked it up right there. You can see it on the other chart. So I saw this candle right here close, and I ended up entering the trade right here. So I put my stop loss. I would typically put it like farther down, but this is too far down. I put my stop loss right here at the previous candle, which was like 12 pip stop loss, and then I went for a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. So I took this trade right here for Euro USD and then hit my TP overnight. I went to sleep, I came back, and I hit my TP already. So you guys can see a lot of these strategies here work for a lot of different assets. So I'm kind of testing it right here on US30, or sorry, not US30, Forex, to see if I can find something good here. There's another one here for GU that played out last night. But yeah, I mean, I still kind of dabble into Forex every so often. I don't like trading Forex because I don't like holding on to the positions for too long, but you guys can see that the strategy here still works very well. So again, right here, there's a momentum signal. It lined up with the Heiken Aishi over here. So this would be the entry on this candle. The trade's still technically running because there's no green candle that has come up yet. So if you were to take this entry here, you'd be in profit about 200 pips for UJ. I was thinking about taking this yesterday too, but I didn't. But yeah, I mean, pretty much these strategies cross over to pretty much all assets. You just have to change the time frame, or you have to make a few adjustments. But yeah, I'll keep looking at these Forex pairs, and if I see anything good here, maybe I'll give you guys a little message in the group if I'm taking anything. But I don't really see anything else here. There's a USD CHF sell right here. Same thing. If you took that, it'd be in some massive profit right now. The only problem with this strategy is that you have to like really look at the chart. You can't just be stepping away from it, because you got to wait for that green candle to come up, which can happen at any moment. Anyways, back to US30, guys. There's nothing for us to take here right now. There's new lower low. There's actually a news candle right here too at 7:30, I believe. All right, there's news price right there. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. We currently still have zones over here. Here is the clean chart. Here is the liquidity chart. Nothing really going on here at all. All All right. Yeah, Maddie said he's still up 4% for this week and last week, so he's okay with sitting. Yeah, not smart, Maddie. No need to risk anything right now if you don't need to. Today's just going to be it's going to be a crazy day because of the Fed. So you guys can see right here, here's a clean chart. And you guys can see the range, right? Price isn't really doing much here because I think that it's going to keep dropping or it's going to keep getting manipulated to the downside until the Fed comes out later at 11. So later at 11, I think the Fed will start to speak and price will spike to the upside. I mean, time will tell. Because if they don't increase the interest rates, it's going to be good for the economy. So if you look over here, they're actually forecasting it to be higher. So looking at the Fed rate over here, it was 5% last month, and they're forecasting it to be 5.25% today. So if they increase rates, it's not going to be good. The price is probably going to drop further. That's why manipulation here is happening because, so this is my opinion on this. So like basically, I see them dropping price here so that retail traders will think that, okay, price is dropping and they're forecasting interest rates to go up higher, then price has to drop, right? And then what do you think will happen here? Price will kind of drop for a bit. And then when the news happens over here at 11, because this is when the news is going to come out, the Fed news, they're going to drop it. It's probably not going to be a smooth drop, but like something like this might happen. Let me show you guys. All right, so something like this might happen where price will just continue to have a slow drip to the bottom side, drop, retrace, drop, retrace, drop, and then consolidate a little bit. And then when the Fed news comes up right here, it's going to spike all the way back up, right? You guys have seen this happen a lot of times because people are predicting the news to be negative. So price will just keep dropping slightly and then price will shoot right back up to opening price. There's no guarantee this is going to happen, but this is kind of what I expect to happen. News happens right here at 11. That's when the Fed rate comes out. Forecasting it to be good. I mean, the forecasting it to be bad, but I think it'll probably be good if it just stays flat. So they're not gonna decrease interest rates, but they're either going to keep it flat or they're going to increase it. So one or the other is going to control the market. I mean, we'll end up seeing where that goes. All right, we got a bit of a boring market right now. There's nothing for us to really look at. There's a new lower low right here, but it's not really too useful. So guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, or if you guys want me to review anything, just let me know because I'm looking for entries here, but I don't really see anything. We have a lower low right here. We have a possible buy signal come up, maybe a possible entry. All right, so we have a pending buy signal right here. But we need to push up past the blue line right there, which is a pivot 2. But you guys can see the volatility starting to die down quite a bit. All right. So we have a possible buy entry right here coming up, guys. You guys got to wait for it to close, though. Let's see if it closes. All right, it closed, but I was not able to get into this position here. I don't know if anyone got into it. I didn't get into it, guys. I was waiting for it to close and it kept bouncing back, so I didn't get into it. This market's starting to get a little annoying because it's not really moving smooth at all. All right, so I'm not in the position here. I'm going to see if I can put a pending order, but if it continues dropping, I'm just not going to take it. All right, I haven't put a pending order yet, guys. I'm going to keep watching to see where it goes. And then I'll determine how I feel, in the next couple of minutes or so. Ben Harwick said the market makers are watching you. I mean, they probably are at this point. We've been under the radar for a pretty long time. But I think this market, so I don't really think that's the case because we're such a small group of people who are trading these types of trading styles and trading strategies. So I don't think we're really making an impact at all. Maybe if we had like 1,000 people in here, then yeah, of course it'd make an impact. But there's only a couple hundred people, or not even a couple, like maybe like less than 100 people in here that are trading with us daily. So it's not really gonna be too much of an impact. But so again, guys, the reason why I didn't take the trade here is because you guys remember when the candle was closing, it was kind of choppy. It was kind of pushing up, pushing down, pushing up, pushing down. And then at the very last second, it ended up closing with a buy signal. So I'm not in this position right here. I don't even feel like taking it. So I'm not even gonna put my pending order there. I said I was gonna possibly put a pending order if it swung back up, but at this moment, I'm not really comfortable with taking any positions right now because we have such a back and forth movement. A lot of this movement is due to the Fed news today, guys. Today's Fed day, so today's kind of equivalent to like NFP basically. And then we do have NFP over here on Friday as well. So there's a lot of reasons to be careful during this week. It's NFP week plus this specific news event for today's is basically Fed day, where they release the news. So I didn't take the trade here. Of course, you guys heard my analysis before that. And I kind of anticipated something like this to happen. So guys, whenever I take an entry, make sure that you're listening to my analysis, right? Because I have reasoning behind why I don't take a trade or why I do. Main thing for this is that the candles are just not moving too smooth. Yeah, exactly. Eunice said, I'm glad I didn't take it. Yeah, no, same here, Eunice. I mean, I had a feeling the market was going to do this. So I already marked up here what I was expected to happen, right? I kind of deleted it already. But you guys saw this right here, right? So I drew this literally before that entry came up. I mentioned price is probably going to get manipulated lower, and then it's going to come back up when the Fed news comes out over here. So that is that's kind of what I see happening. So I'm not really looking to take anything right now specifically, unless it closes very smoothly and clearly, then I'll take it, but not really looking for anything here specific at the moment, because we do have that news coming up, and I think price will just continue dropping until it ends up happening. Check the sentiment. Sentiment's pretty much the same. It looks like a lot of people aren't even entering trades right now. So as you guys can see, there's nothing really going on. It's I mean, it's pretty much flat for the most part. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently down for the Dow. They're down 22 points. S&P's, I mean, everything's pretty much flat. So in order for it to be bullish or bearish, it needs to be below 100 points or above 100 points. It's none of that here. And it's been this way for pretty much the entire session. So the Dow has kind of just been down the middle. It's either like -20, +20. S&P's been down the middle as well. It's just been around 0. Nasdaq's been around the same area too. It's been like -20, +40. Russell 2K around the same, and the VIX too. So you guys can see here that there's not really much of a direction. Christian said compared to February is not doing steady. February was actually kind of choppy. I think the market's actually better right now, Christian. So let me check the results real quick. I mean, the results for the year will pretty much give you a clear picture as how the market was moving. So for February, it was 12 wins and 4 losses, right? We were using the high level momentum scalp that month too. So it's actually really good this month, Christian. We're 18 wins and 2 losses. The thing with you, I think, is that you're kind of just like linear. You don't really think outside the box, right? You think just because there's a strategy, you're supposed to take every entry, but you're not. That's why like we have less losses this year because I'm giving my analysis. So uh I think the thing with you, Christian, is you have to be more open-minded. You can't just be so close-minded, like, okay, there's a strategy here, you have to take it, right? You don't have to take the entry. That's why there's an entry here that came up and I didn't take it. But the thing with you, I think your thinking process is, okay, there's an entry here, I have to take it no matter what. You got to be smart about it, right? The market's not always going to give you what you're looking for, even if there's an entry. So I think that's something that you might need to expand on, Christian. I think you're just like, you're so zoned in on like one strategy and you think every strategy is supposed to work, but it's not going to work that way, especially on a day like this. There's other factors that are controlling the market. There's news. There's like 4 news events that happened today. You guys can see all the lines on the chart. There's 4 news events. It's also Fed Day. And then the Fed Day is supposed to be positive. The Fed Day doesn't happen until 11. So what do you think is going to happen until 11? Price is going to be manipulated to the downside. That's why I drew this right here. So, I think you just you have to think a lot, like think more open-minded, Christian, and don't just be so close-minded into thinking that you have to, just because there's an entry there, it's gonna have to work. I mean, technically, if you were to do the math, I don't know if you want to do the data, Christian, go and like do the data for the strategy for the entire month. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be positive. So just because like you're seeing here on the live sessions that, the specific entries aren't playing out, I give reasons for them not to play out. But I think if you did like your own, so what I would recommend you do, Christian, this is your homework for the day, since like you kind of want to like be focused on this one strategy. Go back and take documentation of every entry that came up for the entire month of April or the entire month of May. And then from there, put it together, and then you can share the data with us. And I'm almost positive, like almost 100% sure it's going to be in the positive. So if you want to go and do the back test for the entire month of April, you can do that and then come back with the data and we'll take a look at it. I'm not going to do it because it's just a waste of my time to do that, because I don't really care to look at the data, because I know the strategy works. It's just you have to be smart about which entries you decide to take and which ones you decide not to. So, okay, cool. Yeah, so Christian said he has a journal of what days. Let's see, Christian said I'm having journal what days are mostly losses, like NFP and Mondays. Not saying the strategy doesn't work. No, I know the strategy does work for sure, but I'm just going back to your comparison, because you're saying that February was better than this month or than April. I think the complete opposite. So yeah, I'm just telling you that it's not. This month April is actually a really good month compared to February, but I feel like you don't really have the data. So if you go back and do the data, so I would recommend, Christian, this is your homework, because I know you like to go and back test and retest stuff. Go back and test April and do the same thing that we did with the old back test, right? Go and mark up every entry during live session time from 6:30 to 8 for the entire month of April, and then come back with the data, and then you'll see that April is actually better than February, because I'm pretty sure it is. Let's see, CJ said another liquidity push hit. Let's see. Yeah, so CJ said another liquidity push hit. I didn't take these entries right here, guys. I don't know if anyone else is looking at these, but price is doing exactly what I marked up. So look right here where I marked up. It actually dropped even lower. So I kind of already noticed this was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened here, right? So price just keeps getting manipulated lower and lower, and then I'm expecting it to push up later once the Fed news comes out. So price is down here, and it's probably just going to stay flat down here for a bit before it ends up swinging back up. But CJ over here identify these liquidity areas. I'm not sure if anybody else took these trades here. I didn't take them myself, but there was an area of liquidity right here down below. If anyone caught that. So there's an area of liquidity right here, price spike down, and then blasted right through. So yeah, if you caught that right there, CJ, looks solid. Yeah, so CJ said, based on your analysis, there was 3 back-to-back wins, pivot scalp, and 2 liquidity pushes. Yeah. Solid. I didn't take those entries, so obviously I'm not going to count. Well, they wouldn't count either way. So these are just extra strategies that we're looking at on the side. There's liquidity pushes, and then there's also, like CJ mentioned, you know, a pivot scalp. So there's a pivot scalp right here. There's actually a couple entries that came up right here. So looking at this, like I'm just going to look at all the different entries that just came up right now specifically. There's a couple back-to-backs here. All right, so I'll just mark up the entries that came up. I already know the strategies like without having to look at them, but right here, there's a V3 variation. That's one entry right there at that top point. Right here, there's a pivot scalp entry. And then down here, so yeah, if you guys want to go back and review the strategies, there was like a couple different entries that came up right here. There's also momentum scalp failure right there too. So momentum scalp failure, and then right here, there's actually, so there's a lot of entries here that came up. All right, so I just like within this little time period right here, I pretty much marked up all the entries that I could see, and there's a high-low scalp right here too. So I don't know if you saw all of these right here, CJ, but there's a lot of entries that came up. So these are all of my different strategies. There's a V3 variation right here. There's a high with a green candle followed by a red candle right there. That's a V3 variation scalp. Right here is a momentum scalp failure. Obviously, price is bearish. We had a buy signal right here. You could have entered the buy at that point. Right after right here, there's a momentum scalp variation. Price closed above the pivots, closed right back below. Again, down here, price broke and closed past this high low. So this would be a high low scalp. And then right here, there'd be a liquidity push. So there's actually a lot of entries right here that came up. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entries right here that came up, and they all would have won. So we don't follow all these strategies because I have so many strategies to follow. But if you guys were to go back and, you know, just focus on one strategy here, they all would have played out. So that's that. We're still looking over here, but there's just nothing for us to take right now at the moment. So there's a lower low down here, but there was no breaking close past pivots 1 and 2 with the buy signal. So we did have a buy signal right here, but it did not break and close past pivots 1 and 2. Yeah, Maddie said, yeah, he's seen multiple entries and figured to hold my position at rather than entering more. Yeah, no, it's smart too. So what Maddie did here is he saw the high-low scalp right here. Maddie actually entered off this right here, the high-low scalp, and he held on to it because he waited for it to push down for the liquidity push right here. And then he ended up catching it for a bigger push. So yeah, but these are all the entries that came up like basically in the past like 15 minutes. That's why it's important that you guys try out every strategy and figure out which one you like the most. Because there's a lot of strategies here that you can apply. You just need to figure out one that you really like and then master it. Joel's asking, what is the correct TP? Yes, that is correct, Joel. So for 10 point, 30 point, you'd put 1,000 to 3,000 in the FTMO Quick Trade Manager. just faster. It's you just have to add the zero to it. So technically you're putting in for 300 pips, but you add an extra zero for the 0.0 at the end. Yeah, no, definitely, Lucas. Lucas said it for him too. So that's helpful advice for me too. I want to get in on every trade when the criteria is met, but you should be looking at different, like there should be other confluences to look at too. It's not necessarily the best decision to just take every single trade. I know it's easy that way to take every single trade, but you're not going to have every single trade win for you. So I have reasons why I don't take certain trades, and obviously I explain them to you guys. So it's just up to preference. If you guys want to listen to my analysis, feel free. If you guys don't want to listen to it, I can't help you at that point. Because some people are just too stubborn. They just want to do their own thing because they think they know everything, but it's not going to play out well. So yeah, whenever you guys are looking at that's the whole point of being on this live session, right? So that you guys can listen to my analysis. So I mean, it's up to you guys if you guys want to listen to my analysis, but I highly recommend it. If I see an entry here, I'll analyze why I'm going to take it, why I'm not going to take it, why I'm going to hold off on entering it right away. And I usually have a reason behind that. So if you guys want to be very accurate, then just make sure to pay attention to my analysis because it's usually on point. And it usually prevents me from losing certain trades. All right, Maddie said he's up 4.4% for the week, so he's going to be closing his MC4. Solid work, Maddie. Yeah, I'd probably do the same thing too, Maddie. If you're up pretty solid, I'll just wrap it up. It's getting close to 8 o'clock, so I don't really see any other entries here. Yeah, no problem. Maddie said thanks for the analysis on the drop. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we already knew that was going to happen because I already marked it up for you guys here on the clean chart. So I already figured this would drop. I think price will bounce back up though. So I don't think this drop here is going to hold. I think it'll probably it'll drop a little bit, go sideways for a little bit, and then at 11, it'll probably swing back up because that's when the Fed news is coming out. Looking over here at the calendar, I don't think there's anything else coming on today, right? Wednesday, yeah, we just had the FOMC statement at 11, federal funds rate. They're anticipating it to be higher. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it goes higher or if it stays flat. I think it'll go higher. And then I think next month they'll probably just stay flat. Yeah, because the economy's not that bad yet. I mean, we're going to recession, but we're not like full-blown recession yet. But you guys have noticed that a lot of people are getting laid off. So I think for Friday for NFP, the news is not going to be good. So I'm expecting the news here I'm expecting today's news not to be good. And then also news on Friday to be bad as well. Because if you guys have noticed, a lot of companies are laying people off. We are getting closer to that recession phase. I mean, I'd say we're already in it, but officially we're technically not in a recession yet. Yeah, Martha said Wells Fargo just laid off half of its operations staff in home mortgage. And it happened yesterday. Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, Martha, you're like on the inside, so you know what's going on. So yeah, Martha, she's, she works with Wells Fargo, and she just said that they just laid off half of their operations staff in home mortgage, which is crazy. The housing market's not good right now. With the interest rates going up, it's like impossible. Unless you want to pay an arm and a leg for loans, which sucks. And also with like that new thing that's coming out, I think Martha even touched on it before, where like people with lower credit scores are getting better rates versus people with high credit scores, which just doesn't make any sense. If you guys are familiar with that, it's like basically setting up for another crash. Because if they keep giving houses to people who can't afford a house, technically, they're gonna end up getting foreclosed at some point. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, Martha said, yeah, big push to lend to low to moderate income borrowers now. Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. So like basically, if you guys are not familiar with the housing market or like what's going on with mortgages right now, the US is starting to roll out this new law, tax law basically, where they're going to they're basically giving the opportunity for people who don't make a lot of money to buy houses that they can't afford. So like if you guys remember the housing crash that happened like in like 2008, that's kind of what happened, right? They were like lending to people who couldn't afford their mortgage. And then if they keep doing that this year, we're just going to have another crash because people are going to buy houses that can't afford the house. And then when they lose their job because of the recession, they're going to default on their loans. And then when they default on their loans, all these houses are just going to go straight to the bank. So it's just going to be another 2008, like a crazy crash. It's crazy, but it's going to be fun in the market. So like, I'm kind of excited for it to happen. I mean, it's going to suck for a lot of people who are going to get caught in that trap because a lot of people are just getting trapped. They're going to buy a house that they can't afford. And then when they get laid off, which is probably going to happen in the next couple months or to the next year, they're going to lose the house that they just got. And then the market's going to crash. Like the market's going to go crazy down. And I'm going to be ready with my shorts. I'm going to be waiting for my liquidity pushes. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'll be looking for these liquidity pushes to play out. I'll be like on the weekly because there's a lot of lows here that haven't been hit yet. If you guys go on the really high time frames, there's a lot of lows here that need to get hit. And guys, don't worry, we're not missing any trades. There's nothing for us to take right here. There's no higher highs or lower lows. So don't worry. I know we're going a bit off topic, but I'm just going to show you guys right here that there are a ton of lows here that have not been knocked out yet. So if we go into another market crash, we're just going to short the market. It's kind of like COVID. If you guys remember during COVID, we were just shorting the market and we made a ton of profit. So if you guys were trading with me during COVID, I think I made the most profit during that year. That was the first year that was very, very profitable. I think we traded for like a couple months and I opened an FTMO. And then as soon as like it hit June, like I traded from like March until June, I went and I bought a brand new like Tesla Model X. That's when I got my first like big purchase because I made so much profit from trading. And I found out FTMO was like a thing. So I'm kind of looking for something like this to possibly play out again. You know, and it's not going to happen soon, but it will happen eventually. Yeah, and Sisu said, and I quit my job. Yeah, if you guys remember, I was an attorney before this. During COVID, I actually took a video in my office. I was like, everyone was all sad because they were getting laid off during COVID. And I was like super happy because I was like, okay, I can trade full time now. So yeah, if you guys have been with me for a while, you guys have seen the crazy things that trading allows. So anyways, I just wanted to mark up areas right here so that you guys can see where liquidity is sitting, because there's a lot of liquidity sitting on the bottom side. I mean, this isn't going to happen tomorrow. This will probably happen by the end of the year. But okay, so here's the 10-minute chart. We can probably go on the 1 hour. It's probably easier to see. So here's a 1 hour chart. You guys will see that there's a lot of liquidity sitting right here. So if the market does end up crashing, I don't think it'll crash super hard, but eventually if it does crash, it's going to knock out like these areas. So if it knocks out these areas right here, I don't think this is a big deal, this area, but I think if price does make it down to this area right here, I think this is the big area. So if price gets down to this area right here, you'll start to see like an even harder crash to the downside. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm not really too worried because, I mean, for most of you guys here, if you guys trade with me and we're trading, like if your income is from trading, you're going to be in for like a ride when it comes down to like that point. Right now, the market's kind of choppy, but once we go into a recession, like an actual recession, it's going to be easy to just short the market. Like you'll just have a bias without having to look at the bias because you already know price is going to drop. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, Martha said another 2008 setting up. I'm going to buy my home during that crash. Yeah, no, same here, Martha. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting because like later on in the future, once the market does crash, the banks are going to have to decrease interest rates so that people will continue buying. And it's just going to be beneficial. It's going to be win-win for everybody. So, all right, guys, it is 8 o'clock. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. There's nothing else for us to take here. Don't worry. I know we went off topic for a bit towards the end, but there's no entries for us to take here anyways. If you guys can see over here, there's a lower low. This is the most recent lower low. There's a buy signal here, but it didn't break and close past pivots 1 and 2. So there's no entry there. Same with this up here. There's no higher high. So there's no entry for us to take here for a sell either. So yeah, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm here to help you guys out. So whatever you guys need help with, ask away. Otherwise, we will be wrapping this up soon. And we will see what happens here. Oh, nice. So I'm checking out the YouTube chat right now. So Satyam said that he got 3 wins and a loss, but then he caught 400 pips. And then he said now he's really going. So he said he forgot to put a TP, and Sean said it might go down before news. It happened very quickly. Yeah, so Satyam over here actually caught that spike to the downside. So nice work right there, Satyam. He followed my analysis. I said price was going to come down a bit before news, and he had a trade there that was waiting with no TP. It ended up spiking down right here, and Satyam caught about 400 pips. So nice work right there, Satyam. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, if you guys are new here and you guys want to learn these strategies that we covered, I kind of deleted the markups over here, but I can't even bring it back. Sorry, guys. Or was it over here? No, it was on the other chart. So I can't pull up the markups that I had here. I had a couple markups with like all the different strategies that came up. If you guys are new here and you guys want to learn the strategies, just click on unlock your free access right here on the website. It'll bring you to the course. And I'll just show you real quick where those strategies are. So I think the first strategy I showed you guys was a V3 variation. Just scroll down to the scalp strategies down below. It'll be the V3 variation right here. And then the second strategy I showed you, I think was a momentum scalp failure. You go up to module 4 over here, main strategies. It's going to be the second one right here, momentum scalp failure. The second one after that, or the third one after that, was a momentum scalp variation. So basically all the strategies here on module 4 were on that 15 time frame trade. Or there's like 5 trades that came up. And then the other ones are going to be down here under the scalp strategies. So basically just look at module 4 main strategies, and then also look at scalp strategies right here. This has a high-low scalp, pivot scalp, triple confluence, variation V1, V2, V3, and the snipe strategy. And also, if you guys want to learn this strategy over here as well, the SR rejection, just go to the same thing, and then it'll be a little higher right here. It's going to be called the K2 Trades SR rejection scalp strategy. So, I mean, we have a lot of strategies here to look at. I mean, it's up to you guys' preference. What I recommend is just find one strategy that you really like and then focus on mastering that one. Once you're done with that, there's like 30 other strategies for you to learn. So you'll have a lot to learn. So don't worry. If you guys don't like one strategy, just, figure out another one, because I'm sure you'll find one that you like. There's at least one there that you'll like, and you can get really good at. So. All right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session as we continue on with this trading.